Lagos Assembly orders immediate removal of illegal structures standing on drainage channels as part of flood control measures to be taken up by the appropriate ministry of the state. Lagos Assembly cautions Nigerian senator. Plus, yet another member of the People's Democratic Party defects to the ruling All Progressives Congress on the floor of the House. We have details coming up. Hello, I am Abimbola Agbebi. Welcome to Lagos Parliament. Last week, our focus was on the rising insecurity in Lagos, with a special attention paid to efforts made by the Lagos State House of Assembly to tackle the problem. Well, this week, we'll be telling you about the issues that generated debate on the floor of the House. This is Lagos Parliament. I welcome you once again.
Get closer to your legislators. See them in action as they deliberate on moving the state forward. Watch updates on weekly events, presentation of bills, passage of laws, adoption of resolutions, and many more. Also, get a chance to meet the lawmaker of the week and watch the legislators observe plenary in Yoruba language. Lagos Parliament, every Thursday 7:30 p.m. and Sunday 11 a.m. respectively on TVC News Nigeria and TVC Entertainment. Lagos Parliament, bringing the legislators closer to you.
The State Commissioner for the Environment, Babatunde Adejare, led other officials of the ministry to the floor of the House, where he highlighted the major causes of the flood that submerged hydro areas of the state on the 8th of July. Adejare told the lawmakers that though the major causes of the disaster are natural and man-made in nature, the effect of the rains was triggered by the activities of illegal dredgers, flagrant disregard for the state's environmental and physical planning laws, among others.
The purpose of inviting you is to give clarification what's led to the situation and how we can avoid same from happening. That is why you have been invited.
There are two major causes of this flooding, the natural one and the man-made ones. The natural one results from what we know as climate change. That is global. It is happening all over the world. People, consciously, they were filling to build houses and occluded a major canal in Oswan Phase 2. And we saw people that built just by the lagoon, immediately by the lagoon, which by our laws should never be possible.
While the ministry boss attempted to analyze the peculiarity of the environment the affected people reside as being a major challenge, the lawmakers insist on the need for the ministry to reassess its flood control measures to be able to combat such emergencies across the state.
It has become an annual ritual for someone to die in flood in Alakpere. Last week, somebody died. Last year, somebody died. It has become an annual ritual. And I know what we need to do there is not as a Korean, it's just to backfill the base of the canals, and we'll have peace in Alakpere.
We can have high tide, the water can backflow, but if we can increase the volume, that is the capacity of our canals, to hold more water off our streets.
The effect of people not doing their job is what we're seeing. We must be sincere to ourselves. All those buildings, illegal structures that did not have approval should be removed.
Just for the future, I'm hoping that the ministry, in collaboration with the meteorological agency, will be able to get your forecasts so that people are aware.
The House moved to call on the state governor to order immediate removal of illegal structures standing on drainage channels, as well as sensitization programs on the need for residents to refrain from indiscriminate dumping of refuse in the state as part of the flood control measures to be adopted by the ministry concerned. Members of the Lagos State House of Assembly have demanded for an unreserved apology from a Nigerian senator and former governor of Gombe for a disparaging statement credited to him recently. Goje, who recently criticized former governor of Lagos and Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, over the budget controversy, was said to have attempted to put the Lagos State House of Assembly in a bad light in its comparison of the state legislature and the National Assembly. The lawmakers described the statement as uncouth and not parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, on the 5th, on Wednesday, the 5th of July 2017, at a session in the hallowed chamber of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a matter arose where Senator Goje, in his contribution to the matter, was quoted as referring tersely, scantily, and in a very derogatory manner to this Honorable House of Assembly as Mr. Fashola thought he was National Assembly is not Lagos State House of Assembly. He said that, and by the second day, on the 6th of July, all the newspapers, all the major newspapers of Nigeria were awash with reports of these uncomplimentary and unparliamentary remarks from a former governor and a serving senator. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as variously amended, has not subjugated any level of parliament under another, especially the House of Assembly of Lagos State. Also, sir, the context in which the words were used smacks of utter contempt and jeer, and it depicts Lagos State as a whole, and the House of Assembly in particular, as a bunch of corrupt and inconsequential people. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not surprising because as Senator Goje has been in the news, always been in the news for wrong reasons. Just about a month ago, he was locked in a very terrible dispute with the Nigeria Police Force when his house was raided, and a huge sum of money, both local and foreign currencies, were carted away from his premises. He did not address the issue of 18 million naira found in his residence, about $10,000, about 20,000 Saudi riyals, and many other foreign currencies that were found in his bedroom. What he was talking about was that the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2017 was in his bedroom. And people were wondering, what was the budget doing? Even if you are chairman of appropriation, why will you keep the budget in the confines of your bedroom? It cannot be more unfortunate when it is discovered that the senator in question is a former governor. Under his rule, he held his state assembly by the jugular. He refused to allow the state assembly to attain financial autonomy that we have in Lagos State now. So one wonders which one is more understand than the other. To this end, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House of Assembly resolve to call the attention of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to this unacceptable, to these negative, spurious, vexatious, baseless, and embarrassing assertions from Senator Goje, and to ask him to live up to the billings of his office by being more circumspect in his utterances, privately and publicly, in the future.
Mr. Speaker, on assumption of these wonderful chambers, one thing you have imposed in everybody, especially the new members, is the integrity. That integrity that we should uphold as members of the Lagos State House of Assembly. And that, to me, Mr. Speaker, has been one of, if we do not know, your greatest high points. And to sit down and watch on TV where Senator Goje would make little or belittle and make soft of an institution that has brought progress to this wonderful state. Not only was he, like my honorable colleague has said, a one-time member of the State Assembly, he also lived in Lagos State, as Honorable Jimo has said, worked in this state, and saw the progress that happened in this state. Mr. Speaker, I want to stand in support of all my colleagues.
Thank you very much.
For a great apology to be made publicly, sir.
I feel it's an aberration. It's an insult on the leadership of the House, the member of this House, even the Lagosians who have voted for us. And with what we're doing, with all our hearts, sincerity and dedication, if he has any problem with former governor of Lagos State, Governor Fashola, he should sort it out. Why on earth should he bring Lagos State House of Assembly into disrepute? I feel the House himself, the House Senate should suspend him for violating the ethics of the Parliament. It's wrong of him to have moved from that place and insult an hollow chamber that represents the good people of Lagos State.
Is an individual person. The House of Assembly, Lagos State, is an institution. For an individual person to insult an institution of a state is an insult that goes beyond the 40 members of the House of Assembly, but the electorate that voted us all here. And to the extent that that statement, that degrading statement, was made in the highest chamber, the uppermost chamber in Nigeria, calls to question the personality of the person involved. Mr. Speaker, professionalism is not determined by being a member of a professional group. It has to be determined by the total exhibition of the expectation and the ethics of that profession. So it is not everybody. We have seen causes, Mr. Speaker, to disagree with the Senate. We have seen causes to make comments about the Senate. But what you have been doing, Mr. Speaker, is to call us to caution when we are about going that end. We also will have loved it most if at the time Senator Goje made that biased statement be clouded by envy for Lagos State House of Assembly, he was called to caution. To that extent, Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that it will not be much of us to demand for apology, because a man that goes into public well and put dirt in the public well, and the man gets thoroughly beaten, you cannot compare damage of the two.
And in a situation like this, what do we do?
The Speaker in his ruling ordered that a letter of caution be sent to the upper chamber
of what we have,
warning it against a recurrence.
We do here. And it is essential to inform him that Lagos State House of Assembly stands head and shoulder above any other legislature you can think of in this country. Not even the Senate can claim superiority, because somebody have just cited the Constitution. And when you look at the requirements to be member of a Senate or House of Assembly, you agree with me that they are same. It is only constitutional responsibility given by the Constitution that are different. Therefore, we just need to educate Senator Goje that the Lagos State House of Assembly is not like the Senate that has been in a supremacy contest with the executive while failing to discharge, the constitutional responsibilities that will take this nation out of recession, that will create protection of lives and property, and that will create job opportunities for our teeming youths and others. While we are focused, engaging and interacting with the executive in Lagos State, creating infrastructural developments, economic growth, and dividend of democracy for our people in Lagos. So this is what we are. This is what we are doing in Lagos State House of Assembly. Well, it's not too far away when you consider when most of our representatives, where they come from and who they represent. When Goje was governor, the population of Gombe was 2-point-something million. Ali Mosho was 1-point-something million then. So most of the governors at times seems to be, what is it called? Glorify local government chairman. Alibocho has population of 1-point-something million. Gombe in 2003 was 2-point-something million. But sending letter to the Senate that to caution them, this has happened and we take it in good faith. But such must not happen again. So Mr. Clark, please do the needful.
In another development, another member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, lawmaker representing Ojo Constituency 1, Honorable Victor Akonde, has defected from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressives Congress. Akonde's decision to defect to the APC was announced on the floor of the House on Monday by the clerk. Explaining the reasons behind this defection, he noted that the unsolved crisis within the party that elected him into office 2 years ago informed his decision. He pledged his support for the ruling party by working to move Lagos State forward. Akonde's defection is coming barely 3 months after 6 other members of the PDP defected to the ruling APC. With that development, the House presently has 39 members from the ruling All Progressives Congress, with just a member in the People's Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a correspondence from Honorable Barrister Victor O. Akonde, Ojo Constituency 1, Lagos State House of Assembly. The letter is addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, Alausa Ikeja, and it is dated 10th July 2017. It is titled Letter of Defection. With your kind permission, I'll read the contents of the letter. It reads, Dear Sir, having fulfilled the provisions of Section 94, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which mandated me to take an oath of allegiance and oath of membership of this hallowed chamber as prescribed in the 7th schedule to this Constitution and in tandem with Section 109, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which allows defection where the party has been fractionized. The Right Honorable Speaker, sir, the party initially fractionized into 2 at the national and state level, but further depleted, fractionized into 4 at the state level. In that wise, sir, I, Honorable Barrister Victor Olusegun Babatunde Akonde, giving to the above stated, hereby defect to All Progressive Congress, APC, from PDP, in order to further continue my support of adding legislative value to the good governance of my amiable governor, His Excellency Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, who has been performing wonders in Lagos State, and the political leadership credence of the Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, who have impacted so much positively to the legislative standards of this 8th Assembly at large. The major reason for my action today is for the singular fact that my former party, PDP, has fallen apart, and the center is not just finding it to hold, especially Lagos State chapter. I have decided to follow the path of the stable and progressive-minded All Progressive Congress. While I look forward to a promised political sojourn with All Progressive Congress, I cannot but thank my former party, People Democratic Party, PDP, for giving me the political stage to showcase myself. I equally thank the Royal Father, spiritual leaders, market men and women, and the great people of my constituency for their support and advice during my period of reflections. I promise to better serve and represent them all. Finally, to learn from the footage of political demigod of our time, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the only Ashwaju of Yoruba land, whom I so much admire. It is an homecoming. Mr. Speaker, sir, I so defect. Thank you. Yours sincerely, signed, Honorable Barrister Victor O. Akonde.
I have decided, with the blessings of the people from Ojo Constituency 1, with the blessings of the Royal Fathers, who have actually asked me to move, and with the blessings of all the Indigbos and the non-indigenous, who have actually consulted because I really consulted wide. I hereby shed the clothing and the skin of my former party, PDP, People's Democratic Party, and I want you to now clothe me with the clothing of All Progressive Congress. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the privilege to be the first to speak in this matter. Because I must say that I'm the most happiest person in this chamber today, because Ojo local government that hitherto has been divided by virtue of PDP having one of our constituencies and the federal constituency is now coming back to be whole. And let me say that Honorable Victor Akande has really made our day in Ojo local government by virtue of this defection. Some of us have asked him severally before now what he was still waiting for in the PDP, because we knew that having won the center and having won over 90% of the states in Nigeria, there's really nothing more to stay doing in PDP. And I'm happy for him. I congratulate him sincerely from the bottom of my heart that he has taken the bull by the horn. He has summoned the courage to come into the moving train of the All Progressive Congress. I say congratulations. And Mr. Speaker, I also congratulate you. It's another egg in the basket. And we hope that very soon it will be a 40 APC member house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On behalf of the Right Honorable Speaker and other progressive members of the Progressive Party, welcome Honorable Akande to the Progressive fold, and may you continually blessed by God. You are welcome. Thank you.
I'm highly delighted to rise to commend two people, particularly. Number one is the Right Honorable Speaker for achieving yet another giant stride in this assembly. And number two, the newly accepted, not inducted, member of the APC, Honorable Akande, for the bold step that he has taken to follow the progressive, to be a progressive mind. I've always known him as a person with a progressive personality, and I'm not surprised that he has finally come home where he belongs and leave the other party to continue to labor. And as we know, APC can never labor in vain. We will continue to progress. We will continue to sweep away debt. We will continue to sweep away corruption. We will continue to sweep away crime till further notice.
My neighbor, Honorable Akande, I must confess, he is really in love with Mr. Speaker and the leadership of the House. One of the reasons why he joined our party is basically because over time, he said he was not despised, whether as PDP or as APC, that whatever is due to everybody, this House ensure that everybody gets it. I think he's moved by that. And secondly, he confided in me that if he has gone to any other party, there's no way we would have made it because Lagos is working while others are sleeping. And with what this House has done over the time to support the executive and what our governor is doing currently, we leave him with no option than to join our party. I appreciate you. I appreciate your consultation. I appreciate the depth of your reflections and the singular movement which is going to materialize in terms of our prosperity and human development, because our party is for human development, not human destruction. Welcome on board to a great party.
I want to add my voice here and to say, Oga Victor Akande, congratulations, you're welcome. I know I have troubled you a lot. In fact, you make me feel better now. And I'll tell you from now on, I've lifted the ban You can enter my office now because we are now 1 members. Sir, congratulations too to my right honorable speaker for all you have done. As for Ndigbo, don't worry, we'll work together by the grace of God. Nothing will happen to you. It is well. Congratulations. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, I would say, like we greet ourselves here in Lagos, Mr. Speaker, congratulations, because this is just a sign of your leadership. This just lay credence to what everybody has been talking about your leadership. And I must say this, that just of recent, few weeks ago, I was on a program on TV with Honorable Akonde, where we are slugging it out on the issue of PDP and APC. Today, I'm happy, and even when you look at him as an individual, you know that he has all these tendencies, the progressive tendencies in him. It's just that he just belongs to where he's not supposed to be. Now that you are welcome home, I want to congratulate you, congratulate the people of Ojo Constituency 1 to say together we are moving this state forward, together we'll move Nigeria forward. Welcome home.
The only reason why we have been able to reduce the numbers of PDP in the House from 8 to 1, without your good nature, it wouldn't have been possible. And I want to congratulate Honorable Victor Akonde for joining the progressive team, even though it's getting late, but he is smart enough, like a sailor who dumped the ship when it was sinking. I thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate your coming to this party. You are a man of integrity. You are a man that most of our colleagues have been able to testify his quality, and I'm sure your coming will reflect all this good image on our party and influence developments in our state as well as your local government. You are most welcome. We thank you for joining the party. As we did for others, we also extend same to you. On behalf of my colleagues, I will invite you to approach Honorable Victor Akonde. As you have joined us, I want to appeal to you to also come with your followers in Ojo local government to join the party. You should not come alone, but with the rest of your team. And they are here. I know they are here. I know coming into the fold before it is too late.
With that, we've come to the end of the program this week. We thank you for staying with us. Till I come your way again next week, remember you can watch previous episodes of Lagos Parliament on www.youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Abimbola Agbebi. Bye for now.